All right, welcome back to the NWA Cane Corso Podcast, where we talk all thing dogs. um, Merry Christmas to everybody. Well, this is a special Christmas Eve show, and we're here today with DJ Pure Quality Canine. What's up, DJ?
Hey, what's going on with you, bro, man?
Nothing much. What's DJ short for?
Daryl Jr., man. Daryl Jr.
Oh, you a junior too?
Yeah, I'm a junior, man. So yeah,
Yes, sir.
I've been a DJ since I've been little.
Yeah. My nickname Lil Joe. So
That's what's up.
yeah. So when I first reached out to you, man, I thought you was on the West Coast because you got that West Coast swagger and everything. But you told me you was in South Carolina.
Yeah, I've been out here, man. I've been out here a little over 20 years, man. I came out here right after high school. My mom got remarried and came out here. So South Carolina's been home, but yeah, that Cali run deep in my blood.
That's what's up. Yeah. I mean, how big a change was that for you, switching environments like that from?
Hey, I tell people, man, it literally took me about 5 years to get used to South Carolina. It was a night and day change. You know, in Cali, I'm used to you didn't make eye contact. My first week down here, and I ain't saying it's a bad thing, but my first day down here, I mean, everywhere you went, white and black, they smiling at you, waving. It was a different. South Carolina was different back then, man. It's getting more city now, where people ain't bothering each other. But at one time, man, South Carolina was a real peaceful place. You know what I mean? Real inviting. I wasn't used to that. You know what I mean? Then at the same time, too, simple things like, you know, we moved down here to the country. You know, at nighttime in the country, be all them the little bugs at night in the trees you can't see.
The weird noise.
You know, in Cali, I'm just used to, you know, it's either quiet or, you know, it's loud, you know, maybe some gunshots or something. So small differences, man, but I'm definitely glad I was relocated out here just for the opportunities. And, you know, now I got a family. This is definitely, it was the right move for, you know, for the family.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, I met a lot of people I met a group of people, a family that moved from the Dago area, Logan Avenue.
Yeah.
And their mentality was so much different than ours here. They were different, bro. And you know what I'm talking about.
And the crazy thing is I'm laid back where I can deal with a lot of different people. I deal with a lot of people that they couldn't make it nowhere but Cali. You know what I mean? They just so Cali, just so wild. Yeah, like you say, they go anywhere else, man, they gonna stand out like a sore thumb.
Boy, yeah. And that's how you get swallowed up because like you can't be an individual in a culture that's already there. It ain't gonna change for you. It ain't gonna change for you one bit. But anyway, man. My guy, how long you been in love with the dogs and whatnot?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I've been in love with dogs all my life, and I tell people before I'm anything, I'm a dog lover. When I was young, before I could even deal with dogs, you know, my father, he bred Doberman Pinschers. So I can remember just before I even knew what they were, you know what I mean? They running around. Most of you know, we was in Cali, so, you know, Dobermans, I tell people, were different dogs back then in the 80s and 90s. So, you know, he bred mostly, you know, being in Cali, they were some mean Dobermans. You know, they weren't play. You know what I mean? So I think we had one named Sheba that was a female. And that was really the only one that we as kids dealt with. You know, Sheba would come in the house. I remember her, she was a female, and, you know, the females would be that lighter, not the two-tone black and brown, you know, she was like the all red. I remember her, you know what I mean? So that's my first love with dogs, that Doberman Sheba right there. Later on in my life, my dad had passed, but luckily enough, I had a mom who encouraged where, you know, she couldn't afford dogs, but I was the type of person, more than once I brought a stray home. More than once growing up, I brought a stray home. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't look for no owner, but my mom would let me keep them, and we gave them a good home back then. But I always been a lover of dogs, man. I always been a lover of dogs. Since day one, it's in my blood.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man. That's funny. I talk to a lot of people in my little 3-year tenure on podcasting, and you ain't the first person I've ever said, man, look, I was sneaking them dogs. Them dogs coming home with me, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if that thing walking around the street like a stray, and hey, it done let me feed them. Hey, in my young mind, it was like, oh yeah, he done chose me. Come on home.
Yeah. Well, how long you been breeding dogs?
Man, tell you the truth, the breeding only started. I'm going on maybe my 5th year now.
Oh, your 5th year,
4.5, 5 years. And tell you the truth, it was funny thing about me. I never started off to be a breeder. All my life having dogs, I never bred dogs. Never had no intentions to. I would say kind of the market, and not so much society, but where I would go with my dogs made me become a breeder. I tell people my first year with my dog Scoop, he's my top stud, my top dog on my yard. He was my first one I barked. My first year with that boy, everywhere I went, I'm talking about everywhere, people were stopping. I'm talking about I'm in traffic walking, people were pulling over. Every walks of life, white, black, Mexican. I even had an Italian dude pull up on me one time in Mercedes Benz, and he was like, "Oh, Italian Mastiff," and he was just going off on how beautiful the dog was. And in my mind, I'm just looking at it. He's a good dog, but I started seeing that I might have more than just a good dog, because people were asking me, do you breed them? You got anything off of them? So fast forward about a year old, I got contact with the guy who I bought Scoop from, and sent him some pictures. And he was floored on how that boy looked. I don't know, you as a breeder, sometimes you sell dogs, but you're not really knowing what that dog's going to turn out to be.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Man, and he was like, man, that's one of the better dogs I done produced. So me and him sat down and we started talking about breeding, and truth be told, I actually got my breeding female off the same guy I got my boy from. They're not related, but I got my male and my female off the same yard.
Okay. So let's talk about the type of dog you in, because I don't know much about this breed. Just another reason I want to have you on. It's called the Americana Depressa.
Depressa.
Okay. So this is a new breed.
Yeah, new breed. The information I got on it, because I've kind of contacted the guy who started the breed. It's a black guy out of Georgia. He started this breed. He worked with it. I know in 2019, he was able to get the dog recognized by the ADF, American Dog Federation. That was the first registry that registered dog. That's where he got most of his breeds up under, the ADF. Before 2019, from my knowledge, he had been working on his breed over 10 years. It's pretty much a mixture of the Presa Canario, the Neapolitan Mastiff, the Cane Corso. I want to say he said he got some alibi in some of his lines, because a lot of his dogs are kind of heavier than mine and have a lot more fur. The Merle actually came from, he used the imported Great Dane. So a lot of people ask about the Merle. It's not from no alibi. From my understanding, he tried to keep the breed mostly all Mastiff. You know what I mean? Where there's no pit bull, no bully, no Staffordshire in it. It's mostly a recreated Mastiff breed, but that's the name he put on Americana Depressa. And I kind of just fell in love with the dog. Love the story, you know what I mean? I love all people, but seeing this black man and the work he put in, and then getting to the point, I mean, in my life, I don't know no other real breed that's even got any type of foothold out here that was established or got a black person behind it. You know what I mean? As much as I know we did in the dog game and in the dog world, I can't really think of one breed that is definitely, okay, this man right here put it together. So I fell in love with it that way. And then at the same time, too, just the dogs, man, they're different. But at the same
Right.
time, too, a lot of people got problems with mixes, and I tell them, I'll set my dog next to any other dog out there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whatever that dog, your dog worker can do, my dog can do the same.
Right. I know some African American guys who've created breeds. I might not know all of them, but I'm gonna tell you one that you know of somebody else. Canis Panther. You ever heard of that dog?
I've heard that dog. I ain't seen many pictures. I did not know that right there because,
Yeah.
most people I've seen pushing the Canis Panther, you know what I mean, been white guys with them. So
Yeah,
I did
but
not know the history on them.
yeah. So it's the dude was a friend of mine, a guy that he was a dog trainer out of Chicago named Gypsy Stratton, and he
Okay.
trained with some under the guy who created the breed, which is named Scorpio Jones, I believe. And then it's another guy here that has a black guy. Hey, you know what? The comment section go crazy because I know my cousin.
but that's the crazy thing is, like I tell a lot of people, man, you only know what you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much in this dog world that I'm still learning because I tell people I don't know all the information. I don't know everything. I'm still I'm still learning, and I want to learn. I want to grow. So
Yeah, we
things
all
like
are.
that. You don't know. You know what I mean? Like you say, I
Yeah.
appreciate that information. I didn't know that about the Canis Panther.
Yeah, it's another breed out here by a guy named Lamone Corleone out of Chicago, Colossal Mastiff. But what you just said was so important because I was talking to a breeder, a dude that been breeding 40 years, right? 40 years plus last night. And he said the same thing you just said. He said, man, I be watching this podcast. He said, I be figuring out how the stuff I don't know. So, and I know, and we're going to get into your podcast too, because I got some questions about it and what it does, because y'all be doing kind of the same thing, bouncing stuff off each other, and I'll be sitting over there, okay, all right. So I'm learning y'all industry as well, but what was I going to go next? So Scoop was the dog that changed everything for you.
Everything. I never, if I never got Scoop, and I mean, even if I would have got another breed, because the reason I got Scoop too was because, I work third shift, and a lot of times on my page, I talk about dogs being your first line of defense.
Yes, sir.
So I was working third, man, and I'm the type of person that's real protective about family, especially my home. I don't play about my home. You know what I mean? Now I don't want nothing. I want my kids and my family to already know, no matter what goes on in this world, you're always going to be protected here. In my mind, I'm working third shift. I know my kids are heavy sleepers. I was lacking. You know what I mean? So that was my first initial to get Scoop. I wanted a big dog because Scoop stays in my house. I got Scoop and I got my girl Layla. They're inside dogs. They don't be in no cages at night. You know what I mean? A lot of times at night, Scoop is on the ground by the end of my bed, and Layla, she's by one of the doors blocking. You can't even go in my room. So I wanted that protection aspect. So that's one of the reasons too. I started getting into them and started with Scoop and these Mastiffs.
Right. See, God dog, that was my next question. You already knocked it out. I was like, I want to ask you, how does your role being a family man? Because I noticed in your video, dude, you're a big family man.
Yeah.
So, but as a breeder, how does that influence your role on temperament? I mean, and that might tie into what was the Americana Depressa designed for. So,
well, from my information, the Americana Depressa, from what I've seen and what I'm trying to produce, they're a companion dog. They're a guardian type breed. They're not where I say like the pit bull. They're not tenacious. They don't just want to go after and get something. I've seen instances where I done took Scoop to stores and there's been people around me he don't trip on, but at the same time too, in other instances where I done been in line and all of a sudden he done started growling. I'm not saying they're smart in that aspect, but they can kind of differentiate and pick up, when bad vibes. So I tell a lot of people, man, my dogs, grew up around my family. I got an older daughter who she doesn't have much dealings with the dogs, but they still know that she stays in his home. You know what I mean? And Scoop and Molly and Layla and the rest of my dogs, they still respect her. So they're real good, but at the same time, too, they do get to that point like most mastiffs. If they ain't grew up around you, if you're not in that home, you're definitely going to be, how I say, you're definitely going to be a target. You're going to be a problem when you come around. You know what I mean? So they are aggressive in that point where they protect the home. You know what I mean? They don't want nobody coming over, nobody in the backyard. But at the same time, too, like I showed in my video, I can take my dogs out and have them around people. And, you know, they got enough sense where, you know, ain't no problem. They're not this active fool. But yeah, I tell people in the home, they're definitely protective dogs.
Right. Y'all get the likes up as y'all come in, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you go to Pure Quality Canine and go over there and do the same for him. So with this breed, I know you talked about the Merle being there, but what are some distinct differences that will be different than the Americana Depressa versus a Presa Canario or a Dogo Canario? Do people get them confused is what I'm asking, basically.
You know, the crazy thing is, ain't too much. Just like really, I tell people, ain't no too much difference between, like how you said, the Dogo and the Presa, other than color. Other than my dogs coming in a different color, and then, you know, some characteristics are different. Like, you know, my dog, he got that Napoleon in them, you know, so some of the breeds gonna have that scruff. They're gonna have heavy neck skin around them. So from some of the different dogs in them, or even like Scoop got a build almost like a Presa, but he's Cane Corso in the face. So I tell a lot of people, you know, right now, I'm still locking in the look and locking in my line because I'm getting, you know, with breeding, I'm getting some bigger dogs that's 150, 160. And then I'm getting some like Scoop that stay around 135, 140. So I'm still working on not so much the standard of the Americana Depressa, but working on mine. Because that's another thing, too. I tell people, you know, because it's eventually going to get a point. I don't know if you're going to ask about standards.
I was going to ask, but you did not go ahead.
And this is the thing, right? This is the thing about
bro,
that.
Am I that predictable?
But you know the crazy thing is, I'm like you. You know what I mean? If you look at some of my older things, I interview people on my channel. You know what I mean? So this is actually my first time being on this side of it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of expect you know what you want to know. So my bad. I'm not going to run over your question.
No, you good. No, it's funny. Yeah.
I tell people too, man, I'm different in a way where and a lot of people ain't going to like it. I don't stick to all the rules out there. You know what I mean? I don't stick to all the rules out there because at the end of the day, I'm just really trying to produce good dogs. I'm trying to produce good dogs that are going to go to families and they will love them. I'm not too much worried about a standard for the simple fact that I'm not pushing my dogs with no show dogs. But if you want to work them, if you want to love them, they can do all that. But as far as trying to create a standard or a locked-in look for a show dog, I'm far away from that point right there.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, but do you have a standard? Not a written down standard, not a official stamp. What's DJ standard for his dogs?
Well, right now, what I am trying to produce as far as my males and what I'm looking at and what I'm trying to keep in my breeders, I'm trying to get to the point where you get to say my males, where I'm making a dog that's right at around 150 pounds, give or take. At the same time, too, as far as their height, I want no more than I don't want an over tall dog, 26, 27 inches. And then at the same time, too, I haven't written down the look, but what I'm trying to produce is Scoop over and over again. I'm trying to produce Scoop over again with just a little bit more weight on it. And I have did that with other dogs. I've had, you know, in my years dealing, I got about 4 or 5 dogs I know that I'm keeping in contact with that's producing that look. But like I say, I still got some ways to go.
Right. Okay. So function is the primary thing that you're looking for.
That's the biggest thing, man, because I want a dog that's moved, because that's the biggest thing, too, about the standard for the Americana Depressa. If you look at some of the other breeders, they're producing heavier dogs. But at the same time, too, man, if you're really out there, like I'm out there with my dogs, man, we go mountain climbing, we go hiking, we walk, I walk 6 miles with my dogs. You know what I mean? I want a dog that can move. I want a dog that if I'm running, if I jump over a fence, he can come with me. I want a dog that if somebody did something to my family, if they jump on a car or jump in the back of their truck, that dog's going back there after them too. So that's my biggest thing right there. Dog got to be able to function. Dog got to be able to breathe. It got to be able to stand. Not the extremes, but at the same time in South Carolina out here, our July, August, it gets super hot. My dogs, they gonna be out there at that. At the same time, too, we get some winters, we get the snow. Me and my dogs, we're gonna be out there with it. So I'm trying to produce all around just good dog, good functioning dog. But at the same time, too, with the Merle, I know a lot of people don't like the Merle. I'm gonna work with it. I'm still studying up on the genetics because they're good looking dogs. And this is the thing, like the Doberman. I got a Rottweiler tatted on my arm. Rottweilers were at one time one of my favorite dogs. But if I got a Rottweiler, my neighbor got one, we almost got the same dog. I'm looking at this day and age, the people that's coming up that really don't know about dogs, they want something different. There's definitely a market for people that don't want something that don't everybody got. Because like you said, the Dogo, the Doberman, the Rottweiler, German Shepherd, a lot of times their standards so locked in, you get one, you got another. Well, I haven't heard about people going to buy Rottweilers and you don't even pick your dog. The breeder picks that dog. Because what does it really matter? They all look just alike. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to produce dogs where put in individual's hands where, this is your dog. There ain't no other dog like that. A lot of time with that Merle, that's what you're going to get because they're never going to throw nothing that's just alike.
Right. From my understanding, when breeders pick puppies, most of the time it's because of temperament. Like if they see something, especially in the pure dog world, they don't work them lines so much that they might see a behavior like that dog gonna be too driving for that older person or that I know they ain't gonna be doing all this. So I think that's why sometimes they will pick, but I'm more like this. We pick together, I go over the dog, I kind of just we do it together. I must because people want what they want, but I just want to be like educate them.
This is the thing about what you're speaking on. You're speaking on a different type of breeder. There's a lot of breeders out there that got a lot of stipulations. They want this dog to go to different people, but there's only a small, there's 8 billion people in this world. There's a line for, how you sell your dog, but for most people, they just want a good looking dog. You know what I mean? Of course, they're not going to come to your yard. They don't want nothing to getting up, going crazy, attacking their brothers and sisters. But at the end of the day, if you're not bringing that, if you come to my yard and I got 10 puppies, guess what them 10 puppies going to be doing? Playing. Right. There might be a rope, you know what I mean? They might be fighting over, but they're going to be playing. You're going to find all of them cute. So at the end of the day, most people, they want what they like. You're right. That's a simple fact. And I understand, especially in your line with working line, you got to, because you're working these dogs and you're after a while, a certain temperament is in them because it's in their line. You know what I mean? But on my instance, where I'm just breeding good dogs, at the end of the day, I'm breeding dogs that's going to take to anybody. And that's how it's been. Right. I can't say it's science behind what I'm doing, but knock on wood, I've had no complaints, man. Like I can show text after text, everybody loving the dog they got from me. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the dogs were picked because how it looked.
Right. I breed for family dogs. That's the number one customer. But I breed for family dogs, but I breed for the overall dog. I try to create a dog where, like, if you're gonna do this with the dog, you can do it. If you won't do that with the dog, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not strictly like right down the line as far as like
This is the thing where I look at it. I believe you can do anything with any dog.
It depends on
the work you put in. You know, a lot of people, and this is another thing about the bike world and you know, the training world. You know, they got too many stipulations. Hell, a person might breed a whole litter, and they might not take nothing out that litter just for the simple fact they're looking for one thing, but they done looked over a lot of good dogs just because it wasn't showing this one thing that they're looking for. But that don't mean you can't take that same dog and put it in another trainer's hands and he makes a good dog. So, like I said, especially with bite work, you know, I know a lot of times it's play, but I've seen people working with Chihuahuas. They're holding on. They're not letting go of that sleeve. I've seen French Bulldogs do it. You know what I mean? So, you know, and another thing too, growing up, you know, a lot of these massive breeds weren't around. Growing up, you know what one of the most dangerous dogs were? A lot of times women had them. Chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas,
man, you knock on your buddy's door, man, his auntie or his grandma, that Chihuahua going there going crazy. And guess what? She had to put him up because that Chihuahua was going to bite your ankles. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, too, I tell people, man, it's all about the work, the time you're going to put in with that dog. You know, some dogs are going to be better than others, but any dog can do anything. Any dog can do anything.
100%. A lot of it depends on the handler. And what's so funny, DJ? This some funny shit right here. So like trainers, really good trainers, they don't give a damn what kind of dog it is. They gonna make it do something. Like you was talking about that Chihuahua, they don't care. And then a lot of the pit bull people can't stand dog trainers that do bite work with them pit bulls, boy. They do not like that, but they could just bring out stuff in a dog that they just know how to handle dogs on a hell of a level. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's all about the trainer, man. Because like you say, man, you can take any dog, you can make it or break that dog. It's all about the person whose hands it goes into. You know what I mean? Like you say, I stand behind it. You know, some dogs are going to be better than other things, like, you know, them dogs that herd it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take my Maltese or even one of my dogs to do no herding. You know what I mean? Because the quick movements they got to do to stay up with a sheep or a cow, it's not going to be good for a mastiff's legs. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work as hard. But at the same time, too, you can definitely take a Americana Depressa or a Presa Canario, and you can teach it how to herd. It's just not going to be the best at that job.
Right, yeah. But it's definitely one of those utility breeds, you know what I mean, that can kind of interchange roles. He that for real. Man, let's get into something. Your YouTube journey, man. I was watching you for way before you know who I was. I was like, man, who is this dude, man? I'm looking at him, I'm saying, man, he going live, talk good, talk confident, put his opinion down, don't back up and things like that. And I just watch you and things like that. And I see your kids and I see you doing stuff with your dogs and I see you feeding your dog and I'm just watching. I said, look at this guy. Then I saw you going live and you just starting like, boom, 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 boom. You wasn't doing nothing like some of the norm, like in the dog world. A lot of times I know people will try to rise up talking shit about folks. When I came in, it was heavy, that shit. Like calling police on breeders, and I'm like, "What's going?" Man, when I came in, I was like, "What the hell? What the hell?"
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. And the sad part is, you know what? And I hate to say it, it's only us.
No, it ain't.
Well, from what I see on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot of others.
Oh man, hey, we got in the dog game. We got black clowns, white clowns, red and yellow.
Well, you know what? I don't deal with a lot of other people, and I don't watch other people. A lot of times, like you say, like you, and a few other brothers, y'all who I watch on YouTube. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah. Y'all who I watch. Y'all, I love what y'all do. Some of y'all aspire to do some of the things y'all doing, but at the same time, too. Just to speak on that right there, I kind of told myself, you know, dealing with social media, I'm not gonna get to no, clout chasing or downing anybody. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right,
that
right.
I wasn't gonna stand on that. There's a lot of stuff I see people doing that I kind of don't agree with, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff I do that people don't agree with. You know
Right,
what I
right,
mean? So
right. Yeah.
I said before I even started off, I'm not gonna get no beef. People can say what they want to say. At the end of the day, man, I'm just gonna stand on my dogs. You know what I mean? Because
That's
that's what
right.
it's all really all about. These
That's what it's
dogs. A
supposed to
lot of
be about.
people,
Yeah.
I believe they mess it up for themselves. Especially, I've seen a couple of channels that were big that went down because
Hmm. Every
we
time.
forget who these people come to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It ain't
Hmm.
all about us. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We're just the people that's taking care of these dogs. It's really about these dogs right here.
It
And when
is.
you start putting them first and start putting yourself before the dogs, that's
Yeah.
kind of your downfall on this YouTube.
And you have proven that. And I tell people, what's up, Baymax the Cane Corso? This is a lady here that you need to follow. She's really cool, but she understands this too. Like, bro, when I saw you, you was focused on your dogs and in your backyard, and I saw you explode. Like, I'm like, look at this dude. You know what I'm saying? You had tunnel vision. Tell us a little bit about that journey and give us all your secrets. Nah,
Yeah, hey, you know what? And this is the crazy thing is, man, I've been trying to put so many people on YouTube because, like you say, man, I just got my YouTube check 2 days ago. I wasn't even expecting it. I looked at my account. I was like, okay, there that thing go. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's free money for what you naturally do. If you
Mhm.
naturally do something and this is what you really do, I tell people, man, put it out there, man. Start your channel. But as far as my dogs, uh, originally I started my channel. It wasn't even Pure Quality Canines. I originally started it. I was just going to be talking about anything, my dogs, my cars, but I found out real quick with YouTube, you got to niche down. So I looked at my life, man, what am I doing more than anything else? You know what I mean? What do I got the most love for? What am I going to be doing 20, 30 years from now? And it was these dogs. So I changed my name up. It was DJ's World. I changed my name to Pure Quality Canines. From then on, y'all, it's kind of like anything. You're trying to play a sport. You got to learn and you got to train. I tell people my first year on YouTube, when I was coming home from work, man, I did not have no radio on. I was watching this one channel. It's a podcast. It's called YouTube Creators.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I
Mhm.
was just watching every episode, and I would hear something and it would make sense. And I would literally come home and apply it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So that's another thing too. For some of us, we're natural behind the cameras. I'm so far from it. You know what I mean? So I had to build myself up. I had to put them reps in. So, like I said, my thing I tell a
Me
lot of
too.
people too, man, if it's kind of hard from you, start watching them gurus. You know what I mean? At least for a year. Watch them gurus, get on them podcasts, the things they say on how to retain attention, how to draw in more people. Try it, and it eventually started working. Another thing too, I tell people I learned early on, just be yourself, man.
Got to
Be
be that. You
yourself.
got to be that. Yeah,
Be
you got to
yourself.
be. Yeah.
Be yourself, because that's going to be the easiest person you can be. And this is another thing too, right? You remember back in the days on MTV, a show called The Real World?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's where I based my channel off of. The
Okay.
Real World. I looked at that, I looked at the way they ran that show, and basically the Real World was a group of people that we didn't know. And they were just showing their lives, the good and the bad. You seen them work, you seen them interact. And that was one of the biggest shows. I want to say the Real World is kind of where we at on social media. It was our really first take on other people's life and what they were doing.
Mhm.
So that's when I started realizing, because I realized on that Real World, some of the people were straight clowns. But guess what? Every day people were tuning in to watch them. So I said, you know what? We just gonna do what we do every day in, day out. Show the real. Who gonna like it? They're gonna watch it. Who ain't? Hell, they probably still gonna watch it too. You know what I
Consistency.
mean?
Yeah.
Because some
Yeah.
people want to see your downfall. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing, man. And consistency. I tell
Yeah.
people just be consistent, and then do things different. Because I was looking at all the other dog people on here too, and that's another thing too. Why I ain't gonna say I got so many dogs, and how I was speaking earlier about don't put yourself in front of the dogs. Man, I got some followers or some subscribers. They know every one of my dogs' names.
They do, yeah.
Some subscribers that if I go a video or two and I don't show a dog, they question it. Hey, where's Lucky at? Why Lucky in the cage? You know what I mean? So realize that these dogs, they're your co-hosts. They on the show with you. You know what I mean?
Right,
so definitely, man, even how some people on here, you know, they're way smarter than me. They got a lot more information. You know what I mean? But sometimes people get tired of just getting force fed. You know what I mean? Because some of that information can come off as, okay, you trying to tell me what
to do. Yeah,
yeah, you know what I mean? I told myself, I'm not going to come on here like I'm the smartest person. I'm just going to show people what I do. You know, you're going to have some people in the comments,
you know how
you ain't supposed to be doing that.
Right, but check this out. You know how I know you a smart man? You separated your podcast. Okay, and for those who don't know, you got a podcast where you sit down with other gentlemen and you talk about dogs. And then you do this format where it's all about the dogs on your main channel, right? On your regular. And because a lot of people don't understand that you can win just by showing your dogs, talking, narrating your dogs, telling a story. You know, people in today's age, they eat that up. Now on the podcast end, it's different.
I can do that information.
Right. Yeah. Don't nobody want to see no damn dog over there.
No.
And and don't nobody want to see you really trying to sell yourself before the dog information. It don't work in the podcast world. No,
it don't. It don't at all, man. It don't at all. So, and this is nothing too, right? And I'm gonna throw 2 channels out there, man, that people can check out. Because, like I say, the reason I show my dogs, one, there's a young guy who breeds bullies. You know, and I don't mind throwing people's name out there. I know a lot of people don't like name dropping, don't want to give people props, but CB Kennels, young black dude out of Florida.
Okay, I gotta look him up.
Young black dude out of Florida. He breeds bullies, exotics. And you know the thing about exotics, a lot of people don't care for them. They're unhealthy. But he's been doing it for about 5 years, man, and I believe he's almost at 100,000 subscribers. So I'm watching him, and then he gets a lot of hate. But I'm watching, and I'm like, what is it? What is he doing? Well, he shows every one of his dogs. Like every one of his dogs are a participant on his show. You know what I mean? He gonna talk about his dogs more than he talks about himself. And I started, okay, that's what people want to see. Then there's another channel too, right? 2 bigger channels. There's this one called Lady with 2 Dogs. You ever heard of it?
No, man, you giving me some. Okay, Lady with 2 Dogs. Okay.
There's this one called Lady with 2 Dogs. She's a groomer. So the beautiful thing about her situation, she's got new dogs every day. All she does is, some of these dogs come in full of fur. All she does, clean them up, wash them. Dog, don't you know she got over, I want to say 10 million subscribers.
What?
And each one of her videos, I'm talking about less than a month, get over 250,000 views.
Wow.
So I was watching her, and there was another guy too. He just goes to the dog park. He don't even talk. He just shows dogs running around. And it's when it hit me, man. People want to see these dogs.
That's all they want. Yeah. That's all you got to do.
You really want to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you really want to win, just show the dogs.
Show the dog. And they'll fall in love with you, especially because, you know, I'm trying to build a community. So I got to put myself out there but show your dogs. But at the same time, too, like how you said with my family, open yourself up on YouTube. You know, it goes back to that real world. They want to know everything. You know, when my mother passed, I spoke on that. I almost shed a little tear. Like, when you have lifestyle and things happen, don't be afraid, because these people are showing up for you every weekend. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid sometimes to show your piece of life, because that's where that connection comes in from. You know what I mean? Because what you're going through, somebody else can be going through. You know, and they here for the dogs, but now they messing with you that much harder.
Right. Man, lots and lots of good information right there. I can't say it enough. Anybody ever talk to me, on the side. I said, man, all you gotta do is show your dogs. All they just worry about you and them dang on dogs. I seen several channels. Women do really good. Women do really good at it if they just go live, record, and you. A lot of times they don't even have to show their faces. It's their voice, bro. You know what I'm saying? They kind of like rock you like you're like, damn, I've been watching this shit 20 minutes because of the voice so sweet to me. No, it's just like a child and his mother, you know, thing like that. Talking about the dog. Look at her. Look at her. She's gonna bite his ass.
The women is winning. Like I tell any female, start you a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? This is the thing about us as men. You know, and I done did it myself where I've been watching somebody for almost a year, and it finally hit me like, dang, I ain't even hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? Like we gotta prove ourselves that much more. Where a lot of times the women, they're off the strength. They gonna look out for each other. You know what I mean? Right. And then us men off the top, we like looking at a female, so we gonna look out. You know, we gonna subscribe. So yeah, I tell them females, man, any female dog channel, they're doing numbers. They're doing numbers, man.
So you got that style of lady that just kind of, you know, like do her thing. Then you have the more general in class. Then you got the one to show the booty. You know what I mean? You be like, dang, what the dogs?
Yeah. But like I said, that one that channel, and the lady actually got two. She got Lady with Dogs, and she got Lady with Dogs too. Both her channels got over 1 million subscribers. You know what I mean? And she's just a real small white lady. You know what I mean? She's at work. You know what I mean? She's a groomer, so she's in her groomer. You know, got her groomer stuff on. She ain't showing nothing. Ain't trying to be sexy. She's just talking and loving on these dogs. And you know, because sometimes some of them come in where they gotta have muzzles on their mouth. She still gets through the job. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like. And it's a beautiful thing about her situation. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever seen on TikTok where the people will pull over and might find a bum and clean them up.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about her channel. These dogs come in looking crazy. And by the end of the video, you know what I mean? She got them looking spectacular. You know what I mean? So she got something that's going to hold you too. You know what I mean? So that's the thing too. Really look at when you're making these videos too, engaging, man. How do you try to keep them there? Because I know you probably look at your analyticals a lot too. I study my analyticals. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah.
I can get people to stay, you know, past that 30 minutes. You know, people got to at least watch it for 30 minutes for it's even a view. You know what I mean? But how do you get them on there longer? You know what I mean? So definitely that engagement, man. You got to stay engaged. And, you know, don't always keep it on you. Even if you're out there talking, swing that camera to them dogs, because they probably got to click off your video, but then you know went to the dogs and they're back on it now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I tell people, man, let your dogs help you. You know, I know you want to talk, because even myself, I feel now I'm talking too much. You know,
no, you good.
That's why I brought this dog right here, because you know you got some people right now probably ain't paying no attention. They like, oh, look at the pretty puppy. You know what I mean? So you know, whatever you're working with, whatever you got, whatever your niche is, understand that's why people really there for you. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. This is a question I want to ask you, being that we're in two different genres for the most part. On your analytics, what percentage of women follow you?
Let me. I got my other phone right here. I'm gonna give you the exact number.
Shout out chat, shout out world, Facebook, YouTube.
And that's the beautiful thing about mine. I'm 56% male, 43% women.
See, that's why I asked you that, because I knew you would be doing a lot more numbers with women than I would in the podcast world. Yeah. I do 15% women.
And there's another thing too, right? And I'm gonna show you something else, right? Because I got an earlier video where I took Scoop to do some bite work. He was just being evaluated, and I made a video about it. And I'm gonna tell you something else about bite work. The reason I don't get into it, especially if you got an aggressive breed dog, a lot of people don't understand. From my understanding, bite work is not something you can do one time. It's something that you got to continually work with this dog. You know what I mean? To keep him trained up, to knowing how to bite at the same time too. So you can make him stop. You know, if you want him to, you know, free something. it's work. It ain't no one-time thing. But what I've learned that first time I took him to do some bite work, boy, Scoot was on go that next week. Like I couldn't take him nowhere. He was because when he was doing that bite work, I'm praising him. He was wanting that praise. You know what I mean? So by me doing that bite work, I actually had kind of in a way made him a little meaner. Now, this is something else, right? Well, I was telling you about most people. Most people don't want no mean, crazy looking dogs. That's why you'll see a lot of people that do a lot of bite work. They're not going to get as much views as people that just showing their dogs. Because people that do bite work and people that look at like that type of action, they're really small and in between. Lucky enough, a guy had told me early on in my journey, he was like, man, do not do no bite work on your channel. If I was doing a lot of bite work, I promise you my female subscribers would be a lot less because they're just not going to tune into that.
They don't want to see that. Yeah, they don't want to.
They don't want to see that.
I've
been to a couple of seminars where they do bite work. I tell people, bite work people are a type. You know what I mean? You're just not going to meet your average Joe there. Every once in a while, you'll find somebody that heard about it. You want to try it. I promise you, they won't be back no more. I say, when I go to these seminars, they're more like gung-ho. You know what I mean? The dudes are going to be kind of big dudes. They're just not no soft people that's doing bite work. You know what I mean? And most people in this world, I ain't going to say soft, but they're not built like that.
They're not built like that.
I say, man, bite work is a small niche. I tell people you can do that with your dog, but understand that you only got a small circle of people that's really into that, that's going to show up to that all the time.
You're right, DJ. It's a small world, and the visuals ain't always appealing to the general public. A lot of people don't know that. Now, if you're in sports and things like that, probably a little bit more acceptable. But I'm gonna tell you something, DJ. They see a lot of these videos of these trainers and don't know, like, man, that's a specific world. It ain't always the best thing to show as a breeder.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Especially if you're in the family, if you're moving family dogs. It's just not.
That's it, because they ain't gonna want it. You know what I mean? Because in their mind, that dog is a killer. That dog is a killer. I don't want that dog around my wife. I don't want it around my kids. You know what I mean? Like, hell, y'all barely controlling it. How am I gonna control that dog? You know what I mean? So,
right.
You got to understand it. If that's what you want to be into, it's all good, but you only got a small niche. There's not a lot of people more people are coming to find it's a family good dog that's going to bark.
Right.
That's what most people want. Most people want a dog that's going to run across their fence, bark, and keep them young kids from playing on their fence.
And then too, that the families that do have those type dogs, that's not something they broadcast.
No,
the families I've seen that got those kind of dogs, they don't even broadcast it. I noticed, like, since I talk about all things dogs, so we do talk with the trainer, sports trainer, personal protection trainers. I've seen guys that's been adamant against protection dogs, but they watch the channel and they feel like it's going to get them some views. Then they start doing protection work. I'm like, man, come on, bro.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, and like I say, it will get you some views, but only a certain type of people, man, gonna sit there and watch that type of work right there, man. Because I ain't gonna lie, me, it's something that I could do, but the times I don't win, it kind of bores me. You know what I mean? I ain't got it to sit there and play with my dog like that all day and do that training. So even then, it just ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? So understand, if you're doing bite work, there's a small few people that's showing up. No, not the majority of people ain't showing up for that type of dogs or even looking for that.
Right. Let me get this one from Complex. Nah, I ain't switching. No. I'm staying right where I'm at. He said I should switch to the Rottweiler. Let me ask you this. Does it take fancy cameras? Does it take any of that to really just get going and do your thing? What are you shooting with?
Every video I've done, listen, every video I've done would be with my cell phone. Matter of fact, Most of my videos been done with a Samsung S10. Then I graduated to an S23 Plus, and now I'm on the S25. All my videos are captured on my phone. Sometimes I might use a mic, and it's a cheap mic I got off Amazon for about $40. Sometimes I might use a mic, but for most of these phones, if you're within 10 feet and talking well enough,
Pretty good
it's gonna
mic.
pick up
Yeah.
your sound. At the same time, too, my apps I use to do all my editing are on my phone. I use CapCut and InShot.
Me too. Oh, okay. Headshot. I never heard of that one.
CapCut and InShot. Them the only things I use, man. Literally, I'll make a video and I'll sit outside around my dogs and edit it right then and there.
Right.
So that's another thing too, man. Because when I started off, I ain't gonna lie, I spent hundreds of dollars on GoPros. GoPro, them little, the gimbals.
The stick thing.
Yeah, the gimbal.
Oh, you sure did. That's what I used to remember. You used to be walking around like this. Yeah.
The gimbal.
That's right,
I even got a I ain't never even used the little flying thing, the flying cameras.
Drone.
I even bought a damn drone, man. I ain't used none of that stuff, man. As I tell people, man, that phone you got is all you need to get started, man. Don't you make no excuses.
I feel you. I feel you on that. Man, what video was it that made you say, this ain't no hobby no more? I got a platform. Was it a video or was it a series of videos that did that for you? Hey, y'all get the likes up. Everywhere shared.
I kind of started off already in my mind that this was a platform. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a type of person, when I start something, like, I already know what I'm gonna do with it. So I already knew I was gonna grow because I was gonna put 100% into it. And I'm the type of person, and it's been back in, when I was younger on jobs, you might get a new job and your first day you're kind of nervous. You know what used to help me get over the nervousness? I used to look around me and be like, hold up, this dude been doing it for 2-3 years. Oh, this can't be a hard job. So I looked on YouTube and I looked at who's doing it, and I'm like, man, they ain't no different than me. If they can get there, I pretty much knew from the beginning, I just had to put my reps in. Like, it was going to take time. Because for me, studying most people who especially making a decent living off YouTube, it takes 7 to 10 years. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
most people who's doing crazy money and you do their history on them, it's about that 7-year mark to 10 to where they making a living, where I done seen people quit their jobs and just go next level. So off top, I already knew, like, this ain't gonna be no overnight. You know what I mean? My first thing is, I got to go ahead and get my 4,000 watch hours, my 1,000 subscribers. Once I got that, it was to the races. You know what I mean? I just knew then I just had to put my time in. And it's pretty much, like you say, I'm a little over, I ain't even 4 years in, I'm at 50,000 subscribers. You know what I mean?
They help good. Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
My goal is, in another 2 years, I'm going to be at that 100,000 mark, if it's going to take that. You know what I mean? But I just know, and like I say, with the checks coming in, my check's slowly growing. It just takes time, man. It just takes time and being consistent and being real. Because I ain't going to lie, there's some days it's hard to pick that camera up. You know what I mean? And I think to myself, what am I going to go out here and talk about? Hell, don't talk about nothing. Just show the dogs. You know what I mean? And sometimes, and just doing that, something will come to me. You know what I mean? But that's the biggest thing.
But see, right there, that you don't got to say nothing. You can turn that camera on because they still gonna be focused on them damn dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I come on my podcast, I never jump on without a purpose. I learned that from the gate. Don't jump on just to be on. Don't ever do it. You know what I mean? Because they gonna read podcasting and you doing a lot of talking and shit. People can read you faster. They can read if you real. They can read. They might not say nothing, but behind the scenes they'll be talking shit.
The crazy thing is, not so much podcasts, but my lives. My lives, I really don't do no talking. My lives are strictly for the dogs because I know most people are coming to see the dogs. Now, of course, people ask questions, I'm gonna answer, but most time I'm gonna go live. And I tell people too, man, it's another thing too. Use everything. You need to be posting your long form, shorts. There's a section that's called posts. Sometimes you post pictures.
I use always.
You know what I mean? Put your post and then that live, man. That live been a game changer. Matter of fact, with these puppies right here, I done went live. I would say my last 3 or 4 lives, 2 of them lives did over 100,000 views. The one I did last night was 60. Hell, I done went live twice and then had my phone on a charger 24 hours straight. You know what I mean? So, man, listen, and this is another thing too, man, like the reach of YouTube is all over the world. I don't talk to people from Africa, New England,
second largest search engine in the world, bro.
India. That's another thing too, man. That's my second biggest. United States is number 1. My second biggest following is India, then the UK. Then it's
my second biggest following is the UK.
Yeah. UK.
Yeah, the UK.
And hey, a lot of times on my lives at night, man, they show up. They'll be, I don't know what country it be, but they'll be like, hey, shout out to here. I'm checking in from here, man. So I tell a lot of people too, man, that live, man, can definitely grow your reach too, man, because it's on the spot. You're able to sell yourself. You're able to talk to people. A lot of times my live, just a live, I'm going to pick up 150, 200 subscribers, just on my lives. Right. So I tell people, man, use every tool YouTube got for you, man, to throw as big as net as you can, man, because I tell people, man, there's 8 billion people in this world, man. There's plenty of followers, people want to mess with you. You just got to get out there to them.
Well, let me ask you this, DJ. So typically on a typical live at the stage you are now, how many people do you on average have on the live?
Well, you're going to have people coming in and out. I want to say for the most part.
When it ends.
What do you mean when it ends?
Yeah.
Like everybody, every view, or are you talking about that's consistently watching at one time?
Give me both.
Well, on the end, like I said, my last couple of videos, I've had over 100,000, views.
Okay.
But on a typical, at any given time, I got at least 100 people on there, watching. I know last night or the night before, I think I got over at one time, there was 300 people at one time, sitting on there watching it. But like I say, that number is going to fluctuate. It's going to come and go. But yeah, I easily do 30, 40,000, you know what I mean? But it all depends too on how long you stay on. I tell people too, if you're going to go live, be planning to at least be on there for at least an hour or two.
Okay. So you done seen this thing. Now, a lot of people talk about fake views. And how do you know if they fake? Like, like say somebody was telling me like, go ahead. I ain't gonna cut you off.
I think only the person who's doing it is going to know it's fake. You know what I mean? That's the only thing about you getting fake viewers and everything like that. I don't know how it works, but I know with the analytical, you're not getting paid for it. So it's just like, I'm the type of, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You know what I mean? And this is another thing too, right? You got to look at your subscribers ain't necessarily going to dictate who's going to watch your views, because that used to bother me a little bit. It's like how I got almost 50,000, but my video's only getting 4,000 or 5,000 views. Why? All 50,000 people ain't showing up every time I drop a video. But then I go to a Mr. Beast or I go to somebody big. Mr. Beast got 1 million subscribers, but he's only going to have 200,000-300,000 views on a video. So that's what you got to look at too, man. No matter what your subscriber count is, if you're getting at least 10 to 25% showing up for each video, you're doing good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't, because I know some people they might look at, how much the view, how many subscribers, and he's only getting these views. A lot of time it ain't like that, because a lot of my views came from too is my shorts. Shorts is the quickest way. I got one short.
Shorts is the way.
Y'all listen. And that's why I don't too much trip on view numbers. Views is just me getting that plaque. I mean, my subscribers is just giving me that plaque. Because that don't matter if they ain't coming back. But as far as subscribers, hold on, what I was saying that. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. But as far as I lost my train of thought, my bad. Yeah, as far as subscribers, man, they're you can't look at it like, okay, they're subscribe. Okay, no, I was talking about my short. I got one short that I got over 18,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
So you figure I'm at 48, 18,000 subscribers came off one short. You know what I mean? So the thing is, a lot of the people who watch that short, they're not coming back. That's the thing about short views, man. A lot of them people is kind of like TikTokers. They come through, they don't like it, but they're not necessarily going to subscribe to you. Or they're not going to watch your long form. So a lot of times I tell people, man, once you get to a point where you're getting paid, don't worry about subscribers. Just worry about the people that's coming and showing up for you. You're just making engaging content that they're going to keep coming back for. You know what I mean? And your numbers going to grow, but your views are never going to match your subscriber count.
Right. That's one thing that I've never worried about because, like, of course, I want to grow, but it ain't nobody that don't know me. Not if you're in the dog world. Most of them gonna know me. And two, it's podcasting is slower. It's a way slower process than plus you're gonna have more of a serious people over there. Like you said, the shorts and the TikTok audience. That's that kind of like that adrenaline rush audience. When you sitting flipping through the phone, blah, blah, you can't, all that type shit. But but if you ain't running shorts, well, you messing up. You need to be clipping your content.
Yeah,
for real.
Like I tell people too. Matter of fact, off one short, I made $2,100. Now with shorts, you gotta date near go viral to really see any money off shorts. You got to do stupid numbers. But like I say, I got one short that went viral and not anything else. Just that short alone was $2,100. So I tell people too, man, listen, don't leave no money on the table. You know what I mean? Be posting everywhere. Yeah. But like I say, with them shorts, you're going to grow a lot more viewers, but a lot of them viewers ain't going to watch your long form or your lives.
Right. And another thing, just going back, echoing what you said about being yourself. I ain't never seen you do nothing out of character. I ain't never seen you shuck. I ain't never seen you jive. I ain't never seen you scratch or itch. You just came on being the same consistent person. Yeah.
This is another thing too. When I started off, okay, now this would help me too. When I started off, I wasn't getting no views. I always told myself that even if I don't get no views, this is a way for me to document what I did.
Exactly.
Through this part of my life. I tell people, one day I'm not going to be here, but long as this YouTube is still here, this is something my great grandkids going to be able to go back and watch and see what type of grandfather, see what type of man that, was in their life. You know what I mean? So it depends on how you look at it. I'm looking at it like that, then that's why I'm going to go so hard too, regardless if people show up or not, because I know one day somebody in my life or just even my coworkers, you know what I mean? Like, ain't no use being fake because somebody out there know you. And they going to be like, man, I seen you on that video the other day, man, stop faking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then too, in the podcast world, you better not come on faking neither because they love to snitch in the dog community. They some snitch in my I'm there. God, they're like, I didn't want to know that. I don't care nothing about dude personal life. I don't. What do you think I'm doing this for? I'm here for the dogs. But you gotta too think about. Let's not act like we ain't got jobs, people. let's not act like we ain't got jobs. So you better be aware of your presence online as well.
The cancel culture everywhere. The
It
cancel
is.
culture everywhere. Like people don't realize with these views and these, like when I go live, I make sure I look around before I hit that live button, because there's somebody on there ready to screenshot the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't know how. It's been shown, man. A lot of stuff you can do on this internet, it's not going nowhere. So it can come back and bite you in the butt. So that's why I just try to
Years
be
later.
upfront, because I can't say and do something now. Because guess what? Yes, say I blow up 5 years from now. There's gonna be somebody that remember that BS I did, and they're gonna put it out there and be like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the really type of person he is, man. Like, hell,
Yeah.
matter of fact, somebody I'm gonna kind of speak on it, dude, on YouTube in the rock roller world. About 2 years ago, he got caught up with something, in some states, some cities and states, they got a little newspaper out, you catch a charge. I don't know about they got up their way, but basically,
Yeah, when you be in the
he had
paper,
caught a little
you be in a little, yeah.
Yeah, he had caught a little charge doing something he shouldn't have been doing. And guess what? A lot of people try to put that out there. Even some YouTubers that were in the dog world, they try to make videos about it like, hey, this is what this guy really does behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful in all walks of life.
You can't be getting in trouble. Back in the day, I don't know how old you are, but I when we got in trouble, it wasn't documented. It wasn't on camera.
Nah. Listen.
It wasn't at the gas station. When you come up to the front of the gas station, it wasn't no newspaper with their sitting there with your face on it. But even with what you said, even if that man, even if a man did get in trouble, whatever he may have done, especially with something like that, I think I know what you're talking about. That's still his business. I'm worried about what he's doing for. You know what I mean?
But some
that's
people
between him and his wife.
Yeah, it for me and you, we're the type that doesn't bother. But
for the world,
I'm his competitor. I'm his competitor. I'm trying to push this out here because this is a simple fact. If I'm selling family dogs, I got to carry myself at a certain way. Because there's some charges, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna throw pimping and pandering out there. I was pimping on the side, you know what I mean? Nobody ever knew about it. That comes out, oh nah, he treat women this way. Ain't nobody going to come get no dog from me. So for some people it ain't gonna matter, but for some people too, what you do, how the type of person you is, it can't hurt or help. It can't hurt you.
Yeah, and then too, it works both ways because when I came in, boy, they nicknamed me Martin Luther Cane Corso, man. Boy, I came in, boy, they were, who are you, Negro? Boy, I was fighting and swinging, but but when I came in, it was a total negative in the master world. It was total betas type shit. It wasn't about dogs, it was about each other.
Yeah.
It happens in the pit bull community a lot too. I love them brothers over there, but boy, they need to stop this stuff. But yeah.
And that's the crazy thing too, is why I put my dogs on here, because I knew at the end of the day I had my own lane.
That's right.
I had my own lane. And I tell people too, I ain't gonna say my growth would have been different if I was breeding a different type of dogs, but it would have been. You know what I mean? Because like you say, just say Rottweilers or Dobermans or pit bulls or bullies, them 4 breeds, which are saturated on the internet, on YouTube. If I was to breed or had them dogs, my rides still wouldn't be the same, you know what I mean? Because now I'm competing with different people, and then that's where that hate's going to come in from.
Yeah.
So a lot of times too, I tell people too, if you're trying to breed and getting into this dog world, don't necessarily look at what everybody else is breeding too, man, because it ain't necessarily gonna help you. It might be a popular breed, but it's so popular and so saturated, man. It's almost gonna be like find your way to the top, because the people at the top ain't gonna want to see, you can buy your dog from one of them breeders, and they still ain't gonna want to push you out there. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, every time someone buys a dog from somebody else, that's one less dog you done sold.
That's right. You're right. Right. Being that you are a public figure, you're a positive dude, DJ. You're a real one. I'm telling you, remind me of my homeboys from Logan Avenue, San Diego. Hey, guess what, y'all? Hey, man. Hey, look. Let me stop for a second. Man, my mama done told me, man. My sister, she down here from San Antonio, and we at my mama house right now. And they told me, go down there and get some paper plates, man. You know who I run into in the store with?
Who that?
Well, I didn't run into the store, but I see him in the parking lot. Rick Ross.
Oh, wow.
The real Rick Ross. Yeah, look on my Instagram.
He coming to what? That's crazy. Before I came on, I did see you in the parking lot with him, man.
Yeah. He here now. He done called me. He'll call me a few times and every day. So shoot, we gonna do that show with him, man.
Oh, that's what's up. Small world, man. That's what's happening.
Yeah, man. That was a trip because when I come in my city, I don't make announcements, and I be trying to get out too, because I don't live in this city no more. So when I came in, I hit the stove. I didn't park in the front. Like when I lived in this area, I didn't go to busy gas stations or anything like that because I got tired of getting into wars when I was a younger man. But so when I pulled in the store, I parked around the side where I wasn't right in the front. And then a lot of times when guys parking on the side, they might be doing something in the car or whatnot. But I noticed, I said, somebody's, somebody trying to not be noticed. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of looked over there and it was him. I said, look at dude.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, you're a positive brother. I'm pretty sure you done took it on the chin more than once in the comment section, but Karens and critics, what is your advice to everybody on that?
Don't answer. Don't listen. A couple of times I've made comments, and it goes back to something I was told when I was young. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You know what I mean? Right. It's not going to help you. Comment on anybody, any troll, comment going back and forth. There's no way it's going to help you, but there's a chance it can hurt you. You know what I mean? Because anytime you're commenting on a troll or a Karen, basically you're in your feelings. So a lot of times you might lively say something you don't want to say. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I've learned don't like the other night I was going live and I had some few people on there and they come through with the comments talking about adopt, don't shop.
Yeah.
I don't even comment on them. I don't listen. I used to say something, you know what I mean? But now I don't even say nothing, you know what I mean? Because I can't change a person's way of thinking. And then at the end of the day, if I get into this back and forth with him, guess what? There's going to be somebody else who, is going to turn them off from me. You know what I mean? Because now I'm the type of person that goes back and forth with people, which really I ain't. So yeah, I tell people, man, don't even feed into it. You know what I mean? Because it's never going to help you. It's never, in this world right here, this dog world, this ain't like, the podcast, where the rappers, they talking about each other where, you talking mess can maybe help your views. Nah, it's not going to help you, man. Like literally, I done seen where I've been on live and I done went back and forth with somebody, boy, them numbers start dropping. Yeah. You know what I mean? People don't want to sit around for that right there. So I tell people, man, I don't feed into it. And then for the simple fact, too, like I say, for some, you can get into your feelings because I'm the type of person, and I truly know it because the way I live, like the things people say, you're not going to say in my face.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
That's
not
true.
Even a respectable conversation, you're not even going to bring that up. You know what I mean? So it's like, why even get down to their level? So yeah, I don't feed into it. I don't do it because, like I say, I know in real life, face to face, they wouldn't say it. You know what I mean? So why feed into it? Because that's what they want. So yeah, that's exactly my talk on that, man. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. I had to. That's one thing I had to learn when I first came in because it used to shock me some of the stuff they would say, and then I also had to learn too. Now it may be a comment that we don't like, especially in the podcast. But I don't take it down because they don't mean it in a malicious way. Yeah. I maybe just didn't like it. My guest might not like it, but was it malicious? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So you have to think about that and things like that, because sometimes your critics give you your best advice. You know what I'm saying? Um, they if a real critic you should listen to, but if they just bullshit because you feel it, man, I don't do that. You know what I mean? But sometimes your critic, the answers to being better is within their criticism. So, but yeah, man, but the thing about it too is the emotional toll, how you take those comments, how you take it emotionally, because everybody can't do it. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
I mean,
Some of the stuff will have you almost, you know what I mean, like you say, thinking about, like they be fighting words, but this is at the same time too, there's a difference between a critic and a Karen. You know what I mean? Like just say I'm feeding my dogs raw bones, and somebody on there, you ain't supposed to feed a dog raw bone. Now, I don't look at that as a Karen. You know what I mean? That's just a critic. That's just someone who just doesn't know, or that's just their belief. And I might speak on that right there. Nah, that's not true. I've been giving my dogs bones for years. They never had no issue. You know what I mean? That's one thing, you know what I mean? I respect stuff like that. That's nothing I'm gonna take down. But the Karens were stuff where I might be in my backyard and they might be like, "Oh, you're running a puppy mill."
A puppy mill, yeah.
Yeah, like that stuff right there. Nah, we ain't even about to play that right there. Like, I'm definitely not gonna feed into that, or that right there will get you blocked, or I might even get that, take that out. Because some things, I ain't gonna lie, some things, especially when you're going live and you got people that don't know you, certain words, certain things people can put out there and they know it, can turn people away from you with not even knowing your true feelings behind it, because someone does put on your thing, "Oh, he's a puppy mill." Guess what? Somebody else is going to bleed that, especially if you don't follow it up with nothing. So, yeah, some things I just don't even entertain, man.
Right. And then, yes, because I had some people from Germany, they got mad at something I said the other day. And they said, "Well, why did you say that, about all that, I don't like all that ass kissing. Overseas, all that old bullshit." And when they didn't like that comment, so they said, "We heard you sell sick puppies." I said, "Okay, here we go. I will get rid of your ass and get them out."
And see that crazy. That's what I mean. That craziness right there, like just out of left field, something I ain't did, but to the wrong person. They can take that, because I can't remember. There was the other day somebody had said something. Oh, no, this was it. The other night I'm live and some guy get on there and he's like, "Why would you even breed them dogs with the history behind them?" And just left it at that. 2 comments later, here goes somebody else. "What's the history behind these dogs?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He don't put into somebody else's mind that like these dogs been attacking. You know what I mean? And somebody else, and that person actually questioned how many other people too was in their mind like, "Dang, what's he talking about, man? Are them dogs dangerous?" So, you got to kind of be careful, because at the same time too, I look at some of these people, they really could be your competitors. You know what I mean? There's people out there making fake pages, and they smart enough to know what to throw out there to, you know what I mean, have people kind of looking sideways at you. So you got to kind of be careful, man, because best believe, even with your page, and I'm sure with mine, there's people that would love to see us, you know what I mean, kicked off this channel.
We doing this video right now, and I'm sure I have dudes that hate my guts that's watching, and I'm sure you got some dudes that hate you. Hey, I've been telling my audience for a long time, when I interview guests, I inherit their enemies.
Yeah.
I do. So, but anyway, let me ask you this. What is the biggest mistake you see breeders make on social media, especially when they new? I'll put it that way.
Biggest mistake I see them make.
New to social media,
Two things I can just think of, man, is not being consistent.
Oh, yeah.
If this can make sense, not standing on or not believing are not being 100 with the dogs you're pushing, no matter what type of breed it is, how that dog looks. If you're going to put it out there, man, stand behind it. You know what I mean? And everything that's going to come with it. As far as mistakes, this is one thing I'll just say a mistake altogether in dog breeding. People starting to breed dogs because they see other people breeding. That's the biggest thing I can mistake before a person even starts breeding. You breeding dogs because you see other people breeding at the same time too. You're thinking just because I got the same breed, I can breed. A lot of people don't understand. Like it takes that dog. You know what I mean? Like you got like I understand how with some people they're real critical about breeding, man. Like I believe every dog shouldn't be bred. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be some type of magic that dog and that female you're putting together is producing that's different. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's different. That's gonna stand you apart. Not just I got a Rottweiler and you got a Rottweiler, or I got a Dogo and you got a Dogo. You know what I mean? Like what's gonna differentiate yours from this next person? And I think that's the biggest thing right there. People just jumping behind, following the crowd, and you just like I tell people, man, dog breeding is saturated, man. If you're not really in this for the love of these dogs and the work that it takes day in and day out, you're not gonna last, man. You're not gonna last. So I think that's the biggest thing right there. People just jumping in, breeding dogs because they see other people, and at the same time, like not really having that dog really worth standing behind and breeding. And then they done produce these puppies and they're wondering why they can't sell them or can't move them.
Yeah, yeah. And then another thing is they don't know the dirty side of breeding. I mean, like they're livestock, they're animals. You just can't leave them for days. You know, your life is centered around them and things like that. Then you have tragedy, you have losses, you're delivering puppies. You might get 11, only have 9. Your kids watching, sad, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely some hard decisions. Dogs might not turn out the way you want it. You know,
but see, before
anything.
if they finding that out, it's too late.
Right.
It's too late. Listen, everything you just said is everything you supposed to have thought about before you even started breeding that dog. Man,
Yes, sir.
you're gonna be cleaning up. You're gonna need cages. Ain't no more family trips. That's over with. That's out the window, especially depending on the type of breed you got. You know, with my dogs, I just can't leave with anybody.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, me neither.
So I can't be gone. Looking up, I got my kids. So, you know what I mean? I can, if I need to dip out of town for a day or 2 or 3 for a weekend, I got them to take, but most people ain't going to have that. At the same time, too, your wife, before you bring that dog home and start breeding, is this something your wife is down with? Because this can tear up relationships. Listen, I tell people, man, my wife wasn't down with me. Oh yeah, she'd have been kicking me and all these dogs out the house. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I don't think a lot of people look at that, the toll that these take on your family, because these responsibilities, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I might want to go in here and sit down with my wife, but nah, the puppies need feeding. They ain't here crying. They cages need, so they're gonna take you away from your family in a way.
Right.
That's why I had to make sure that I included my family into this breeding. I couldn't do this. If my wife wasn't with this and my kids wasn't with this, I wouldn't be able to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because this allows us to spend time with each other, still doing something we love to do. You know what I mean? But for most men, you'll see, especially if they're on YouTube, they're gonna be in the backyard 99% of the time by themselves. You ain't never gonna hear about their wife or never hear about their kids, because guess what? They don't want nothing to do with them damn dogs.
Yeah, you're right. like a lot, like
you know what I mean?
Like the weeks I go to work, my dogs are cleaned, already done. I don't have to worry about it when I get home because everybody's in it. Everybody's involved. You know what I'm saying? This is something we gotta do, and we don't mind doing it because they are family. You know what I mean? So, but let me I'm gonna wrap this up, man. I love talking to you, brother. We're gonna have to do this again or something. You know what I'm saying? But when people come watch you, or the perception of you, what do you want people when they say that's DJ Americana Depressa, what's the stamp? This is what I want them to know. What I'm about. What would that be?
Simple, man. He just a good dude, man, with good dogs. He loves his dogs. He takes care of them. That's it, man. And no big words, nothing big. I'm just a good dude. I got love for my dogs, and I take care of them. You know what I mean? I make sure they're healthy. Make sure they're fed. I put my dogs. In a way, I kind of put my dogs before myself a lot of times. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing. My takeaway. Just the real. This. I got love for these dogs, so I'm gonna do the right thing by them.
All right. This is my last and final question. Hey, look, y'all. If y'all got questions, I'll take one from the audience, but I'm gonna let them get out of here. But this is my last final question. Whether it be in life, whether it be in dogs, what would my guy DJ from California, the younger DJ, what would the older DJ tell that younger DJ from California?
Don't be worried about what other people think. That's the biggest thing that slowed me in life. Even before I started breeding, man. Real quick, just tell you, when I first got Scoop, I used to be on Facebook, putting them in a lot of groups, and they was tearing me down.
Yeah. I didn't know them damn groups.
But something I would realize their hiccup was he was Merle. They would never say he was good. Confirmation. They never said nothing about his build. They never said nothing about his attributes or what he can do. The only hiccup they had was his look. You know what I mean? And once I got past that, like, oh, that's all y'all worried about? You know what I mean? Because I done told people and I done called out people on different pages, like, we can meet up. Whatever your dog can do, my dog gonna do it too. You know what I mean? I actually had this one dude one time. I was like, man, we can meet at this park with a lake. I got a ball I can throw out to the middle. You see who dog gonna run out there and swim and get that ball and bring it back. There's a 5-foot fence. You see who dog on the other side who can run and jump over it. There's a 100-yard field. You see who can stand at the end of that field, man, and we're gonna do a time trial. Small stuff like that. Like, if it really comes down to just because my dog's Merle and that makes him lack, see if he's really lacking standing next to or working or doing something your dog can do. So that's why I had to get over, man. Not only in this dog breed, but through life, man. Don't worry about what nobody say, man. Just do you. That's the biggest thing I would tell myself, man. Just do you. Don't worry about it. Be a man in everything you do. And it's all gonna work out for the best, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Before we go, brother, you do have a podcast of your own where you talk with some other gentlemen. Could you tell us about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the funny thing is you got Sid on there, you got my boy Jamie, and you got JoJo, man. These are all dog breeders. We actually all work together, you know what I mean? And we don't travel, went to dog shows, but we were sitting around and we would have these good conversations, man, when we talking about dogs, because two of them is Frenchie breeders and one's exotic bully breeder. So we had different we was dealing with different things. We was all dealing with dogs, but different issues, different things. So we was able to come together. Sometimes I would have something and I would hit them with it. And we'd have these conversations, man. It just kept hitting me like, man, we need to start a podcast. You know what I mean? Because one thing I will tell, and I'm pretty sure once you get on YouTube and you get monetized and you start making some money, like most big people, you start thinking about another page. You know what I mean? Because most big YouTubers, they got 2-3 pages. So like I say, I've been thinking about, how can I do something else differently, but not take away and still have the time? And that was the biggest thing. So I sat down, I talked with them, and I was like, man, instead of we having these conversations, we sitting around drinking, start putting this on tape. You know what I mean? Let's start videotaping this because, like I said, they're like me. They've been breeding for a long time. They got their different experiences. We're not no professionals. We ain't been schooled at this, but we all got our own little different knowledge that we can share with the world. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how that came about, man. Pure Quality Canine Talk Podcast, and right now I think we're at like about 300 subscribers, 350 subscribers, probably about 40 videos in. So we're on par. We're doing good. Right now, the biggest thing, like I say, we work together, so it's getting that time when we all can sit down and be more consistent with it. But yeah, that's how that came out.
Y'all be
Definitely,
talking
y'all go
shit
check
too,
that
boy.
out. Not only my page, Pure Quality Canines, go over there, Canine Talk Podcast, Canine Talk Podcast. Give us a follow, check out, because like I say, man, we just talk about real world issues, man. It be some shit talking. Sometimes we say something we shouldn't say. Especially my boy Jamie. Boy, listen, hey, Jamie came from the pit bull world, man. So he got some stories. Man. Sometimes like, no, listen, coworkers is watching this. Watch what you're saying. But yeah, we have a good time over there, man. Like I say, it's
that's good, bro. I like it because you can sit down as men, which we would previous. It's been a lot of issues with just people talking in general about dogs. Yeah. I done pull off some mean panels. I don't know if boys, but them dudes are got on there. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. When the difference is when people know what they're doing, it don't be a lot of disagreement in it. Now, don't no two men agree on the same things, period, totally. But if you know what you're doing in a field, it's usually not a lot of disagreement in that field. You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah. I agree with that.
Yes,
but see, this is the thing, too, in the dog world, right, that gets us messed up. Everybody thinks their dog better than everybody else's dog.
But that's arrogance.
You know what I mean?
You know what, bro?
Whatever breed, whatever dog you got, your dog ain't better than my dog. So that's a lot of times where it even starts, man. It even starts. You know what I mean?
But when I hear that, it's usually coming from guys. Dog ain't shit. They ain't never been to the kennels. Most of the time, they hadn't been around the dogs.
Yeah.
But you know who really know the dogs, and I know who dogs who really ain't shit, and a lot of people think they are. The trainers that have worked with a lot of these breeders' dogs, they be telling me, they be telling me, man, motherfucking dogs ain't shit. I had one buddy of mine tell me he went to one of these kennels. He said, man, them dogs so unstable, I thought I was in a penitentiary. They was trying to jump out the roof and kill his ass. They were trying to jump out the kennel and everything. But anyway.
Hey, people don't realize, man, you keep them dogs behind them fences, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's what you
keep them dogs behind them fences, man. Anything step on that yard, listen, they going to go bloodthirsty, man, when they get to them, man. So I done seen it. I done seen it plenty of times.
Well, hey, man, I'm going to let you go. I wish you a happy holidays. I don't know what you celebrate, so I'm going to say happy holidays. I love your backyard talks. I've been admiring your channel. I've been admiring your realness. I've been admiring everything about you, brother. And thank you for coming to the show.
Hey, same to you, man. And listen, I appreciate you having me. Like I say, I was kind of reluctant earlier, because you had been hitting me up. But I was like, dang it, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I say, I tell people, man, like,
I don't just hit anybody
information, but I love my dogs, you know what I mean? So if don't nothing else show through, I hope that shows right there my love and the care that I really got for these dogs. Because like I say, I'm not breed specific. This is just the breed I got. We got 2 Maltese, man. I can love any dog. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I did a video the other day where I went to the SPCA, man, just walked through. You know what I mean? Because so many people talk about, these overbreeding. And as a breeder, I just had to go put my eyes and just see what the problem people is. You know what I mean? I did a video of it. So, like I say, man, I love dogs. I love any type of dogs. Love watching this show.
Hold on, bro. Now finish that out. What was your conclusion on that? Yeah, I'm a nosy Negro.
This is my take on it, man. Because a lot of people talk about these mastiffs, man. They be like, Man, listen, this is what I will say. Was it near Mastiff in there? I will say this. It wasn't overcrowded. It didn't look crazy. It didn't look. I seen a board they had up where all these dogs that were, re-sheltered and rehomed. But this is what I will say about them dogs there. They ain't what I got. They ain't what you got. You know what I mean?
I know
Everything there.
what are they, pit mixes? Mainly?
Yeah, you had, listen, you maybe had about 5 or 6 pit mixes. You had one bully. You had one bully that was nice. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, on his card, he was already spoken for. Somebody was coming to pick up. But most of them was going to be pit bull, bully mixes. And then the rest of them were dogs that probably ain't going to get over 50 pounds, ain't going to get over 2 feet tall, and were some type of Shepherd, Collie, Labrador mix. You know what I mean? Like, unidentifiable. So a lot of times when they speak on, this overcrowding, it's not us breeders. You know what I mean? Because I'm not seeing our dogs, our purebred dogs, in these kennels. You know what I mean? Like the dogs that are there, I can see why they're there. There was and I didn't say bad breeding, because you have some times where you can have a dog jump over a fence, get your dog pregnant, you know what I mean? And you don't know what it's mixed with. That's what a lot of times what I've seen there, you know what I mean? But definitely as far as people breeding purebred dogs, I've seen nothing of that nature there. You know what I mean? Like everything that was there, I hate to say it, was supposed to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because
I tell people, I love all dogs, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to get me nothing from a shelter because I know what I want. I know the look I'm looking for. They're beautiful dogs. I'll sit with a shelter dog and walk them and play with them all day, but I'm not going to feed them for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? That's not what I want. You know what I mean?
Risky to put around your family too, because he's in there for a reason.
Yeah, that part too, because like I said, a lot of them were smaller dogs that ain't gonna get real big. But hey, no, matter of fact, let me tell you a story real quick. I'm sorry to hold you up.
No, you're good, bro. I got time. I'm at mama house. Yeah.
I had to get a new cage real quick, so I went on Marketplace and I contacted this lady. She had a 48-inch cage, so I went to her house. The reason she was getting rid of the cage because she had a pit bull. I want to say it was some type of pit bull mix that she had got from the pound. The night before, it had bit her son on the nose. And she was telling me that she had took that dog that day, went and put him down, and she wanted to get rid of the cage before he even got home. You know what I mean? So this was actually a puppy that she had went to the pound and picked up. And the puppy turned around, you know what I mean? It was a small mix, all white dog. She showed me the picture of him, had bit one of her kids, you know what I mean? So that's another thing too, man. You don't know the temperament. You don't know if these dogs are getting kicked, you know what I mean, or treated bad. A lot of times that can show up, not at first, but a week or 2 or months after it gets to your home. So, a lot of times with that SPCA and the dogs right there, they got their place, but at the same time too, I don't know, y'all. Them dogs ain't for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That's a whole subject I need to tackle. But I'm going into some tough topics next year, 2026. But that's a whole tough topic.
And look this up right here, which I've been hearing a lot about. The United States going to other countries and bringing dogs over here. You been hearing about that?
Yeah,
okay, man. Listen, this is another thing too. That's what I meant to say. A lot of them dogs look like third world country dogs.
They are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they were just so mixed, like nothing that even halfway resembled something somebody would breed in America. You know what I mean? But I've been hearing a lot of talk about that we're saving dogs from other countries coming over here, making it look like we got more of a problem when in actuality, a lot of these agencies going to other countries, bringing these dogs over here and expecting us to take care of them and rehome them.
Well, it's almost like the marijuana industry when it was illegal and all this. Now that it's legal, they want to control it, right? So they really actually controlling the sale of dogs on a wholesale business system. it's two important shows the people need to watch that's happened on my podcast. One of them was my brother that invited me in to be a co-host out of East Arkansas over there, Sykes Pups. He did a show with the Calgary group, and also February 28th in Searcy, Arkansas, we got the Arkansas Backwood Classic. All of us will be there. Brad Sneed, Jamie Sweet, Tony Clay, all of them. But anyway, we did a show with the Calgary group, which is a group that fights for breeders and animal people to own animals. And she went through all the stuff that we're going through. Another important show is with the AKC judge, the lady from Pure Dog Talk I just did. She said there was $8 million dogs sold per year. You know how many dogs that guys like me, you, AKC breeders, whatnot, are responsible for selling? 1 million. The rest are coming from commercial breeders and overseas.
Exactly.
That's $7 million dogs, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and then I don't know about yours. Like when I went to that SPCA the other day, this is $1 million facility. Like on I don't know how many acres it's sitting on, but they got one area that's called a learning center.
Yeah.
They got an area called a learning center. They got a big building for dogs, big building for cats. They got about 5-6 buildings. This looks like a little baby campus. You know what I mean? So that's why I tell a lot of people too, there's a lot of money in this. So they're not trying to get rid of no stray dogs. You know what I mean? Because you know how many people are not going to get paid if there wasn't no problem with all these dogs that they say they are. So, you know, it's like how you say with the marijuana industry, why it'll never be all the way illegal, because you got a lot of lawyers, you got a lot of judges getting paid to make sure people are getting locked up for these drugs. So at the end of the day, you got a lot of people that are getting paid to make sure that their SPCA is filled up with dogs needing rehoming.
And then too, you know, you got to think about the dog industry. You got so much. You got the food part of it. I mean, it's billions of dollars in the industry. You got the food part. You got a lot of these dogs, instead of they probably need to be mentally, they need to probably be put down. No, let's retrain them. Let's refurbish these mugs and sell them to families. Because I don't care if you get it from a shelter, you're gonna pay a fee. It's probably gonna be a couple $100, right? So yeah. So you got that part. You got the food industry. And the breeding part is the smallest part of all of them. Oh, don't forget the health, supplements, anything, topicals. That, you know, a lot of dogs got allergies. What dogs doing with allergies? Yeah.
The hair groomers. The pet shops, man. This is a $1 million industry, man. There's so many people getting paid in it. Like I say, at the end of the day, I just want to do my part. I don't want to make no problem, but at the same time, too, I'm not going to let these agencies dictate what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I just ain't going to do
it. I feel you. Well, DJ, man, if there's a big fat white man crawling down your chimney, that's Santa Claus tonight.
That's for sure, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming through, man. You too, man. You have a good, happy holidays. Hey, man, thank everybody for checking in with us. You already know I'm subscribed to your channel, man. I wish you nothing but the best, bro. I wish you nothing but the best, man. Right.
All right, brother. All right. Well, thank you for coming. Y'all be sure to go follow Brother DJ at Pure Quality Canines. YouTube, I'm out. Give your dog the best start possible. We offer proven tools, products, and supplements backed by our real-world experience and our passion for healthy dogs. Step into the realm of canine wisdom with our podcast, NWA Cane Corso, where we interview dog men and women from around the globe. Discover their talents and insights on breeding, training, nutrition, and the rich history of dogs. Tune in to the most underrated yet influential dog podcast on social media. Your journey into the dog world starts here.